Laybone, Lupain, amoon na fi, daan na am.
Once upon a time, it was a good time. It used to happen, and I am always a witness. This was between the lizard and the beetle. It was raining heavily. While it was raining, the beetle went out to look for food. The lizard also went to search for food. But anytime they met, they will fight and the lizard will kill the beetle. On this day, the lizard met the beetle while looking for food. When they bumped into each other, the lizard praised God for seeing food. When it suddenly bumped into the beetle, it decided to praise God for finding food. The beetle said to the lizard, "Why are you praising God?" Lizard responded, "I was so hungry, and I have now seen a food to satisfy my hunger, which means I will chew you up today." Out of shock and fear, the beetle said, "No, lizard. Before you eat me, let's see each other at a spiritual level, casting cowries." The lizard replied, "There is nothing to see here." The lizard said, "You already know today is your last day on earth." But in seconds, the lizard thought about the request of the beetle and said, "Still, if you want us to see, let us see now. But I do not see the reason for us to see, because to eat you is all I see." Lizard said, "I will cast first." The lizard cast the cowries in the calabash and stirred them, and then stirred until the lizard said, "Ah, for me what I have seen and what is about to take place will not be pleasant for you." The beetle in fear asked, "What is that?" The lizard replied, "Kajum kajum is all I see for you," which means to chew. The lizard replied. The beetle then said, "Okay, now let me also cast and stir the cowries." The beetle put the cowries in the calabash. Upon stirring the calabash, the beetle jumped and said, "What I have seen is different." The lizard surprisingly asked, "What have you seen differently?" The beetle replied, "I see a lot of dust." "Oh, you beetle, do you know what you are talking about?" The lizard asked. "Can you imagine? I have met you, and I am stronger and more aggressive than you. In fact, I am hungry, and you are saying I will miss the opportunity to eat you. I have to eat you. I have stirred and seen kajum kajum, which means to chew your flesh. You have in turn stirred and proclaimed to have seen a lot of dust. Where will the dust come from? And where will you see it? The whole place is wet due to rain." In those days, while this was taking place, there was a cattle rancher whose cattle got lost. The cattle breeder was searching for his cattle, and he had roamed and roamed and roamed until he felt tired but could not find his cattle. The cattle rearer was so worried. All he was thinking about was what to tell his father about who owns the grazing cattle. But this cattle rearer's father liked lizards so much that he could forgive any wrong done to him upon being presented with a lizard. While he was worried searching at a distance, he spotted a lizard having a face-to-face with a beetle. "Is this a lizard I see or not?" he asked himself. As soon as he was sure that it was a lizard, then he began to chase it. As it ran, the cattle rearer ran after it. The lizard ran and ran until it suddenly entered into a hole. As it entered the hole, even though at that end it had rained, the rain had not reached the inside of the hole. It was dried inside the hole. When the lizard rushed inside the hole, it found too much dust inside of it. The lizard reflected on the proclamations of the beetle when it cast the cowries. All I see is a lot of dust. You are crazy. It has rained heavily. Where will dust come from? The dust surrounded the lizard inside. It approached the entrance to the hole, surprised, and put its head on the opening of the hole. Indeed, it was very worried and surprised about its earlier conversation with the beetle. It said to itself, indeed, and indeed, the suit wearer is a capable fortune teller. When a beetle streams its wings, it takes on the appearance of one wearing a suit, which is why it said to the suit wearer, when have we had an encounter? Anything it normally says out of casting will normally come to pass. This is how the beetle escaped the lizard. As the lizard escaped the cattle ring gave the lizard its back. Then it will be good to know that what the beetle said to the lizard come to pass, but what the lizard said to the beetle has never come to pass. When this happened and concluded, I left that place and headed to a place called Panchang in Upper Salem. This was the place where the story I narrated happened.